What's up, guys? It's Ken over here at Backbodymystery. Today I'm doing a review on He Who Remains. He Who Remains first made his appearance in Thor issue 245 in 1966. So before I get started, slap that subscribe button, like and share. Follow my other social media platforms in the description. So today we're going to be going over a quick story time, and I got my special guest Ida here that's going to narrate the story. So let's get started.
Defeating his variants. Once upon a time, while living on Earth in the 31st century, Nathaniel Richards, who was a scientist, discovered the existence of the multiverse, which consisted of alternate universes and alternate versions of himself. He caused them to meet each other, leading to them sharing their knowledge and technology with one another, creating a temporary peace. During this time, he also created an AI he named Miss Minutes to serve as his assistant and chess partner. Knowing that Miss Minutes was capable of more, he allowed her to write her own code, though consistently denied her a body. Some of the variants, such as Kang the Conqueror, saw the alternate universes as places to rule over, thus starting the multiversal war. During the war, Richards had a variant of Rebecca Terminet, who he named Ravonna Renslayer, leading his army. He discovered a monster created from the rifts of space-time, who he dubbed Alioth, and harnessed his power to defeat his variants, ending the war. Preserving peace. Isolating a collection of timelines that followed the same baseline, which he titled the Sacred Timeline, he wrote a strict script to be followed, eliminating branches that did not follow his script for the Sacred Timeline. He Who Remains also created the Temporal Loom, a device created to manage and eventually delete branch timelines if they had not been pruned in time as a failsafe to ensure the Sacred Timeline's existence. Now operating under the moniker He Who Remains, he created the Time Variance Authority, or TVA, to govern and protect it from being overrun by his surviving variants. He captured variants from branch timelines and erased their memories of their lives, brainwashing them to serve as employees of the TVA, including positions such as field agents and analysts, and instilling in them the desire to prune rogue timelines and preserve multiversal peace. Under his new rule, he worked along Ravonna Renslayer to help run the TVA, with its employees aware that they were working for him. He Who Remains located an asteroid at the end of time and established a castle there called the Citadel at the end of time, from which he watched over the sacred timeline. As the Citadel neared completion, Renslayer and He Who Remains admired it and their mission. He Who Remains complimented Renslayer's efforts in the war and declared his pride to lead alongside her. Renslayer opened a time door to the Time Variance Authority office and noted that the organization was awaiting commands. He Who Remains said that he would catch up and let her go through the time door alone. He Who Remains then summoned Miss Minutes and ordered her to initiate one of its protocols, which would erase all memories and traces of him from the TVA and its employees. Miss Minutes hesitantly agreed and followed out the door, and He Who Remains silently apologized to Renslayer. He then created the 3 android timekeepers to publicly serve as the TVA founders. He also tasked Miss Minutes to create false history of the TVA as propaganda. Attack on the Citadel. Millennia later, He Who Remains grew tired of his endless work and responsibility and wanted to find a new successor. He guided a Loki variant that he allowed to exist, as well as a female Loki variant named Sylvie, through their adventures and paved their road leading to him. However, knowing what Sylvie had planned for him, He Who Remains created a contingency plan, a portion of which included having Miss Minutes create a Victor Timely variant in 1868, which he informed her about. When Loki and Sylvie approached his castle, he invited them in to speak with him. When Sylvie called him He Who Remains, he laughed that Miss Minutes was still referring to him as that, but said that he liked the name. He tried to speak with Loki and Sylvie in the elevator, but Sylvie was too intent on revenge and tried to kill him repeatedly. However, he evaded her using his temp pad and transported himself to his office. He invited Loki and Sylvie into his office to sit down in chairs in front of his table and offered them drinks. Eventually, the duo sat down and he told them that he knew everything that would happen, showing them a printed transcript of the very dialogue they had just uttered. He then told them about the history about his variants, the Multiversal War, Alioth, and why he created the TVA. He informed the pair that not all of his variants were like him, with some being evil and bent on conquering realities. He informed Loki and Sylvie that their recent actions leading to him had been designed by him, including their adventures on Lamentis I and in the Void, and that he wanted to be sure that it was them who could take his place. Claiming that he was much older than he looked and was tired, he asked them to take his place to be in charge of the TVA and to oversee the protection of the sacred timeline. He offered them two choices: kill him and let the sacred timeline expand into the multiverse, thereby letting his variants wreak havoc before he eventually returned in some form, or become his successors and ultimately the leaders of the TVA. However, not truly intending to die at Sylvie's hand, He Who Remains enacted his secret contingency plan. After thunder crackled above, he told Loki and Sylvie that they had just crossed the threshold and lied to the pair about telling them that he was no longer able to determine the future. He Who Remains then witnessed Sophie and Loki duel each other as Loki was trying to stop her from immediately killing He Who Remains. He witnessed as the two Loki variants kissed before Sylvie used He Who Remains Tempad to throw Loki out of the Citadel through a time door. Unbeknownst to Sylvie, He Who Remains had arranged her to commit this very action as it granted Loki the ability to time slip with, in conjunction with his order to have Miss Minutes create a Victor Timely variant, served as his contingency plan to be resurrected. He Who Remains then told Sophie that he was impressed before she threw his table aside and stabbed him in the chest. He winked at her, however, and cryptically told her that he would see her soon, before laughing and dying.
There you have it, guys. That's the first part of the story. I hope you were entertained by that, and check out part 2 in the description below, and I'll catch you guys next time.